So what should be our plan? What should the American...
Number one, I don't think people should intervene other country in internal affairs. Okay. I agree. Of course, good wishes. People, I think American very generous people have a good sense of right or wrong. But I found a lot of time the problem people don't know the truth.
I think it's a fair thing to say. America meddles in the affairs of many countries. That goes on record without doubt. You'd find few people to disagree with that. But the problem is with the statement, follow-up is that there are other nations around the world who are on the same page as the United States, and many of the people here who believe that China's influence or their occupation of Tibet is wrong.
Right. Yeah, well, we don't say that okay, China is so good or so perfect. That is, yeah, we got that kind of problems, but not evil, not dumb. To be a different country with a different system than the United States and whatever country doesn't necessarily mean that we are evil or we are dumb. We are just a different system, different country.
Right. My husband's family, many of them died in prison.
Right.
For not because they committed any crimes, only because they were Tibetan and because of their last name.
Right.
And they're called political prisoners. And the reason they're called political prisoners is because they haven't committed any crimes. Their only crime is that either they're Tibetan or they come from a certain family. Or in my husband's case, part of the family had escaped, and so they imprisoned the other Tibetans.
If you're really interested, if you're really concerned with China and Chinese people, you should study a little bit more about Chinese history. Go back to Yuan Dynasty, Ming Dynasty, Qing Dynasty. Tibet is always part of China, so don't.
I have studied Chinese history.
Okay. Okay, and tell me the sources. Tell me the sources.
You know, there's a lot of misinformation on both sides, okay, in terms of what the history of Tibet has been. The problem is this: not so much national sovereignty, but freedom of religion and freedom to practice one's cultural tradition.
But also in China, I think they kind of enjoy their life because they're kind of religious, so they don't like work a lot because they have their religion things to do. So the government reimburses them a lot money and give them some free goods to give them the free lifestyle.
I was in China a couple weeks ago, and a couple of young men who I don't think had anything to do with the government showed me, something they downloaded from their website saying that these pictures of Chinese police beating people were fake. Right. And I don't know that I agree with them, but I told them my opinion about what's going on in Tibet, which is I told them that a long time ago the United States had an indigenous autonomous region, was the whole country, and then the white people came and they practically exterminated everybody. Right. And I don't think China really wants to be copying us.
Every country have their own progress at their own pace. I mean, civil rights don't have civil rights. Women don't have voting rights. Black don't have voting rights. For many years, it's a progress, and you have to allow history take its own pace. It have come from grassroots, and I think China is moving to that direction.
Yeah. I think some of that is probably true, but it's still a fact that they're supporting genocide in Sudan and that they're actively killing people in Tibet. And yes, it will have its natural history, its natural progression, but it's not really an okay thing.
And China is opening up. We have our dark side, just like the U.S. does. Every country has its dark side. You're talking about human rights. Let's talk about human rights in the U.S., how we treated the Iraqis and things like that. When you talk about politics, you have your own perspective. Therefore, you cannot be objective. You're very subjective.